I'm mad. There was a truck standing over there and a guy with a dog over there. And I turned around for 5 seconds and he jumped in the truck and drove away. At least I got the picture when he was already in the truck. So that's something. I found myself visiting these coastal places a lot lately. Well, actually I think maybe even most of my photography has been at some kind of coastal place. I do really enjoy being out on these spots, especially on bright days, because I don't really have to care about exposure too much. What I do have to care about is contrasts and, well, in different ways, like colors, shadows, or just overall how the lights hits the scene. Without it, the scene may end up very flat, maybe too flat even. But yeah, I really do enjoy being out on the coast, hearing the water, the people walking by, birds flying by and making sounds. I don't know about you, but I find it very peaceful. But I feel I'm very sidetracked right now, sorry about that. I had a comment on another video saying that I cut my videos a little bit too much, because you can see, especially you can see in the sky when I have clouds, that the clouds jump when I'm talking. And that's because I can't remember a single line. I can read a paragraph like this, put down my phone, and the second I'm gonna talk, I forget what I'm gonna say. So this paragraph I'm having in front of me right now, I'm gonna read out loud, because this is one of the paragraphs I would normally have to cut a lot to get right.
You sure about that?
Visiting these coastal spots has made me realize how much light can completely change a scene. Some days, even if the histogram looks perfect, the image might still feel flat or lifeless. Other times, a technically incorrect exposure can create a much stronger mood. So, exposure, that's what I want to talk about today. Yeah. Oh, by the way, for those new here, I'm Jimmy, a hobby enthusiast photographer based in Sweden. And normally I would say in this video we're talking about, but I just said that, exposure. Yeah. Now, I will talk about exposure in general, because everyone got different tastes. I like really bright skies, almost overexposed with very little details. It's not to everyone's taste, but I like it. So, talking about exposure in general, we learned that we should have a balanced histogram, meaning the histogram should be as much in the middle as possible to capture as much detail in both shadows and highlights as possible. And in general, yes, that's true, especially if you shoot RAW. If you shoot in RAW, you're planning to do post-processing anyway, and you want to keep as much information as possible in those areas, in both shadows and highlights, so you can play with the image as much as you want to or little as you want to. But if you shoot JPEG, since the camera is applying processing in camera, you need to think about the final image on the spot. Think about it as shooting film. You have to get it right in camera, because there's no going back to recover highlights or shadows in post-processing. I mean, of course you can bring some detail back, but it's not as efficient as RAW. You get what I mean. This means exposing for JPEG is often different than exposing for RAW, because JPEG applies contrast, color, sharpness, everything on the spot. Meanwhile, RAW gives you, as I said, the flexibility to do all that in post. If you expose flat in JPEG, you might end up with an image that lacks contrast and looks dull just straight out of the camera. So RAW gives you the flexibility, but JPEG is kind of interesting, but it kind of forces you to get it right in camera. I would even say that shooting JPEG probably makes you a better photographer, because you actually have to get it right straight away. I mean, neither is wrong, it's just different ways of shooting. Most modern cameras has a built-in JPEG profile or presets that you can apply directly in the camera. For example, my own 5 currently, I'm running the same JPEG settings that I showed in my settings video. And for the rest of this video, well, actually, I have already been shooting with JPEG and RAW, but yeah, for the rest of this video, I will show both the JPEG and the RAW file. And I've been exposing for the JPEG, so I don't know if that's going to be a advantage or a disadvantage to the RAW file. I guess we will see. But it's not to compare that a JPEG is better or worse than a RAW file. I'm so good at explaining things, aren't I? By the way, you can get my own 5 settings and profiles for RAW and JPEG down in the description. In the description. That's hard to say. Oh. Let's dive into how exposure actually impacts a photo. For this, I will be showing some examples from my last week's trip to Åsa outside of Kungsbacka, which you might have seen from last week's video. Let me know down in the comments if you like that type of videos where I'm just out on location taking photos and showing the location I'm at. I have sand in my mouth. Alright, so I have 4 images here that I'm going to show you, and the same thing goes through all of these 4 images. I've exposed them perfectly in camera, and when I get home and import them to my PC, yeah, you're going to see what happens. So let me just show you here on the PC right away. So we can see here on the histogram that I've exposed this quite brightly, and you can see that even on the exposure here that it's 1.1 stops. And if I just remove that, you can see the image becomes very underexposed straight away. So I'm just going back there, I'm going to reset this to default. And this is the complete raw import. So this is how the image looked when I imported it to my PC. And even though we can see here on the histogram, everything is perfectly balanced. I don't have too much dark, and I have basically nothing on the right side, the highlights either. But you can see clearly on the image that it's way underexposed, and that's not what we want for this image. Well, at least I do not want it for this image. So if you just increase the exposure here by quite a lot, maybe 1.10, yeah. This is pretty much the scene that I had in front of me in real life, on location, last weekend when I was at Åsa. And I'm just going to go back like that, and we're going to go to this image. Same here, exposed brightly. Reset to default. We can see it's pretty balanced in the middle over here. A lot of information in both shadows and highlights. Nothing is clipped, and the image is just way too dark. So what we would have to do here is also increase the brightness or the exposure, maybe something like that. Yeah, this is actually kind of what I had in front of me when I was there. I actually like this image quite a lot, to be honest. So yeah, normally what I would do when I edit these photos, currently I'm using presets, Roman Fox presets. They are great, so if you want a film style look for your images, Roman Fox's presets is something I highly recommend, and I'm not sponsored by Roman. So normally if I would edit this by myself, I would start with the exposure, maybe add or decrease contrast depending on what I need. I don't have much information in the sky, so I probably would increase the highlights a little bit here and decrease the whites maybe a little bit. The blacks, well, I could probably increase the blacks a little bit. Yeah, okay, that's fairly decent. That's actually up around there where the other finished image was. And from here I would go into the creative process of maybe adding a little bit of warmth, maybe reducing some saturation, increasing the vibrance. I would go into effects, I would add some grain, maybe, like that. Yeah, you get the point anyway. So I'm just gonna go back to the finished product, like that. Same thing here, this photo looks very bright, but the same thing here. Reset to default, exposure is, well, really underexposed in my opinion. The image looks horrible. You can even see that we have a little bit of black, and that would probably be my fiance's jacket, I would believe. Yeah, it is. We just move that up a little bit, we increase the exposure, and we already have a better image by doing that. Same thing here. On this image, reset to default. We have a little bit of blacks here, where it's these shadows over here. Those are really dark, but same goes here. If you just increase the exposure, maybe even, yeah, around here maybe, it's a lot better straight away. So yeah, that's what we have to work with. So this doesn't affect RAW files that much, since you can play with the settings pretty much as you want to, or little as you want to as well. But what happens with JPEG, in these cases, you would be underexposed in your images. So, I mean, if that's something you don't want, you would have to increase the exposure compensation or expose brighter in camera on the spot, on location. Yeah. And I noticed when I've been editing my photos a bit, and I've been editing the movie that this is for, and I noticed that a lot of my JPEGs was actually too dark, so I didn't properly expose them in camera. I think I was a little bit too scared, I would say, to destroy and maybe clip the RAW file. So yeah, I still gotta learn JPEG shooting a little bit better. Somehow I did manage to find a even windier place than I was before. And I realized when I got to this place, when I pull out my tripod, my Surui Traveler 7C, that I'm missing one leg, one extender I'm missing. So it's either in the car or it's at the other place, which is only 10 minutes away, but still. So I'm sorry I'm looking down at you. This is the most extension I have currently. Anyways, I hope that future Jimmy did a good job demonstrating how exposure really affects a photo. So what's the takeaway? Well, exposure isn't just about technical perfection, it's about intent. Some people love bright, airy photos, like me, and some other people like deep shadows and contrast. And there's no right or wrong here, because there is no single correct exposure, just the one that serves the story you're trying to tell. If you shoot in RAW, you get the flexibility in post-processing, and you should mostly shoot for a balanced histogram, as much as you can at least. But if you shoot JPEG, you need to commit to your vision in camera. Both approaches has their place, and there's no right or wrong, because what matters is what works for you. So next time you're out shooting, try experimenting a little bit, like shooting overexposed, underexposed, and see the difference when you get home and can watch the photos. The more you play with it, the more you will develop your own exposure style. But that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like and consider subscribing. I appreciate that so much. But until next time, have a good day or evening whenever you're watching this. Out!